Hey, friends and frogs, how's it doing? How's it going? It's just a typical Thursday. Thursday, the September the 4th. It is going by so fast, the whole time thing. Is anybody looking forward to the fall weather? I thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. It is very appreciated. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Let YouTube know that I have viewer interaction with my content. Maybe somebody likes me. Maybe I'm popular. Maybe. Um, don't want to talk about the Meghan and Harry of it all. Just don't want to do that today. So I thought about we would discuss music. I have an eclectic kind of background in music, and it is awesome. And I'd like to discuss it with you. I don't know everything there is to know about music. There's a lot that I probably won't mention, but I probably do know about. But I would like to know what kind of music do you listen to get chores done with? What brings you down to the ground? What grounds you when you're upset? What kind of music is it that you listen to on a daily basis? Are you a singer? Are you um, a musical person? Do you play an instrument? What kind of music makes you happiest? What kind of uh, is there a song that makes you cry? Is there an artist that you love? What was your favorite album? What was your first album? All those would be great to know down in the comments if you let me know all that kind of thing. But yeah, my mom was into country music, and we're talking about the Tammy Wynette, the George Jones, the Jim Reeves, the uh, Tom T. Hall, that kind of thing. Just country is mostly what I listened to when I was younger. I do remember a couple of songs from the radio when I was a kid. I was born in 1970, so you can look at these times up if you want to. I don't care. I was born in 1970 at the end of it. So my first song I remember, my first two songs that I remember is Old Yellow Brick Road by Elton John and the Doobie Brothers' Old Black Road. Um, those I remember distinctly. I can listen to them on the radio, and I'm like, I don't even know where I was, but I just remember them being on the radio, and I'm like, hey, this is cool. I don't even know where I was living. I couldn't point to a place I was. The only thing familiar to me was my mom. We listened to anything from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. We listened to the Temptations. We listened to the Supremes. We listened to just older things like that until the AC/DC Back in Black came in, and then we listened to that, and then we had the Eagles Hotel California album, and I learned about vocal harmony, and I learned about how powerful the guitar can be in a song. Then we got up into my teens, and it was the Whitney Houston, the Whitney Houston, Talking Heads, Melissa Manchester. This is the early 80s. Spandau Ballet, Robert Palmer. Who can forget Robert Palmer in the 80s? Although he started out in the 70s. There was Led Zeppelin. There was Elton John again. There was Paul McCartney was he never really quit his music journey, did he? He just kept going and kept going. He had Wings with his wife, and then he went out on his own. He went solo, and he did that one song with Michael Jackson. No, he did two songs with Michael Jackson, I think. Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else. Anyway, then we get deeper into the 80s, and we have the Bryan Adams of it all, and the Police, and then we have Motley Crue, and we have Quiet Riot, we have all this stuff. We have, don't forget the Patsy Cline and the Reba McEntire year in the 80s. That's when my mom was listening to her country music. But Reba, wow. I'd never heard someone's. Well, I heard Patsy Cline. Okay, Patsy Cline was like my hero. It's somebody I sang with all of my life. And then we have Patsy. We had Reba McEntire come into the scene, and I'm not dissing any because we also had the Bob Rendrell, the Dolly Parton, the Tammy Wynette, the Lynn Anderson, and they were all beautiful voices in their own right. But there was no power like that of Reba McEntire, and I sincerely am very grateful for her. She was just an awesome, awesome uh, singer to look up to. Um, we get into the 90s music, and of course, I listened to all the 90s like everybody else. I wasn't much into the rap music of the 90s because it got more, their lyrics got a little bit more, I want to say disrespectful, but take that as you will. So there was that. And now we have the Kelly Clarkson, the Adele, the Katy Perry, the Lady Gaga. I can deal with Katy Perry one song at a time. Play me one song by her, and I'll listen to it, and it's like, okay, I can, let's go about another way. We have Ariana Grande. We have just music. Oh my gosh, music transcends everything. It gives emotion, and it can put you back in. Just the sound of a tone can put you back in time, even though you're not literally back in time, but it can make you feel like, I remember what I was thinking when this song was playing when I was a kid. I remember what I was doing when I was a kid, already in my teenagers. I remember thinking this, or I remember who I was dating, or I remember going out on that one date with so and so. It can transcend into certain different things. But yeah, I love music. My youngest daughter wanted to sing. This was she was younger, and the Cranberries had come out before she was born, so she hadn't heard of the Cranberries. And I'm like, you can't sing without knowing who the Cranberries are. You have to hear the Cranberries. So we played about 2 or 3 songs of hers, of the Cranberries, for my daughter that day. There was just, I mean, I would love to be able to sit through. I mean, nobody's going to know all the music. There were things like heavy metal in the 80s that I didn't deal with, things like Wasp, Striper, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. But I didn't deal with a lot of that. We hit the Metallica, we hit the Bryan Adams and Sting and Rod Stewart. That one song that they did, that was just awesome. Just what I could just sit and listen to music all day long if they would play enough of a variety of it. Of course, we have the Sirius XM, the satellite music. We don't play the radio like we used to because there's not a whole lot to be played anymore. But even with Sirius XM, I can turn one channel and that song's on that channel and it's on another channel, and then you flip another more channels and there's that same song is on that. Just like they repetitively play the same songs over and over and over, and it sometimes gets tiresome, even though they're awesome songs. Nothing is taken away from the power of that song or those songs or whatever, but sometimes we'd like a little bit more variety, and nobody is able, you're not able to hit the radio stations at the time the most variety plays. But I like a great variety of music. However, when I was a kid, I remember singing into my hairbrush and hiding away from my brother so that he did not pick on me, which he was my brother. He did things like that. He could do things like that. But I wanted to be Phyllis Diller. I don't know if anybody is as old as me, but you look at Phyllis Diller and she's got the diamonds, or the fake diamonds, however, the big earrings, the big hair, the boas. I mean, she just had it going on with her confidence, and she exuded just, so much to me as a kid. It impressed me the way she just was so able to laugh at herself as well. It was awesome. I wanted to be her. I know that sounds like a creepy thing to say, but that is what I wanted to be. But my anxiety wouldn't let me do that. And a couple of times that uh, my brother did catch me singing into the handle of the bus. He'd make fun of me, and I understand. Sisters and brothers, we all do things like that. There's always been singers in my family. My uncles played guitars, or they played pianos, they played the banjos, they were always singing. They were singing in church, or they'd get together on the weekends and have like this jam session, and everybody was there, all the kids, all the grown-ups. It didn't matter. We were just all one big family singing together. It was awesome. I love music. I can't listen to too much of today's music. And I know you want to say I'm older. No, it has no substance. People want to repeat the same thing over and over and over to the tune of the song. It kind of gets redundant. It makes me dizzy. I'm not naming names, but I hear the same things over and over, and it's not what you want to hear in a song. I came from a time where music pretty much told a story, whether it was a good story or a bad story, whether it was emotions, whether it was a dream or whatever. It told a story, and you're not telling a story by saying the song, maybe the word friend, friend. That's not a story. That's just, and I know a lot of people can relate and name artists that can do that. But yeah, it has been great. Music has been very good to me. But yeah, I'd like to know, what is your take on music? I hadn't mentioned Robert Palmer. I've done this video like 3 times, and there are people that I forget to mention, like Whitney Houston, Madonna, and Freddie Mercury, and Queen, and there are so much. It would take 4 or 5 days to mention everybody I know, and the one reason I really wanted to record it was because I didn't mention Robert Palmer. Who could forget Robert Palmer? The Queen, David Bowie, just on and on and on. I remember, okay, I guess I was about 11 or 12, maybe 13. And I was living with my mom, and I was thinking, I want to write down the whole catalog of songs that I know and the artists I know them by. And then you think about it, and you're like, this is stupid. I should have kept up with it, but I didn't. I got about 4 pages in, and I'm like, this is stupid. They're always going to play Bruce Springsteen. Let's go into Mariah Carey. She was early 90s. Adele. Thankful for Adele. Thankful for Lady Gaga and some of Ariana Grande. Some of the lyrics. I told my kids when they were growing up that, you have to pay attention to the lyrics, because if the lyrics are like, if they make you uncomfortable, then maybe not listen to that song as much. But sometimes the beat can overcome you. I found that out with some of Queen's older music. Sometimes they would say things that were like off the cuff, and then you're like, oh, did they really say that? Yes, they said that. There's Michael Jackson. Don't forget about Michael Jackson. Prince. I love Prince. Oh my gosh, I wanted to be a Prince girl since he first came out. He was awesome. I watched a little YouTube. I love YouTube. YouTube has everything. It teaches me things. But I watched a documentary about Prince last night, and I was kind of into it. How they had to go into his mansion, months after he had passed away, and it was pretty much like a museum, a shrine to the artists that lived there. So I thought that was kind of nifty. Not long after, I have a picture up there actually, that my husband, he went to Minnesota, and I was like, I don't care what you do, just get me a photo of Prince's house, and it's up there, just right there. It's up there, a full picture of Prince's place. Yeah, just awesome, talented singer. And then you thinking you're listening on the radio, okay, these people are fake. There's no way. Of course, that was me when I was a kid. These people are fake. There's no way these people can sing like this. And who's going to make that song? Well, they did. People wrote songs. The Keith Whitley, oh, jeez. Prince wrote a lot of songs for a lot of different people. He wrote for Kenny Rogers. He wrote for the Bangles, Lionel Richie, I think. He wrote a lot of songs. He wrote for, what is her name? I see her. Sheena Easton, and Sheila E. Sheila E. was a great drummer. Oh, she was so awesome and so pretty. The Time, Morris Day. I could go on and on. There's Janet Jackson. There's all the Jacksons. Jacksons had a song out in the 80s that I liked very much. Kool and the Gang, The Jets, Climax, just Rick, right there. What is his name? I'm giving Rick Springfield for one, but no, not that Rick. Super Freak. And it's just right there. Tina Marie. Awesome scene. Just people to put you in. I loved to dance as a kid also. So anything that had a beat to it that you could dance to, I was dancing around. I was always dancing, always singing. My grandma's like, why do you have to dance all the time? Of course, she's real religious and would listen to a lot of religious music, the Inspirations and the Gatlin family and things of that nature. She's like, why are you dancing? Why are you always dancing? I'm like, I just like to dance. I'm going to dance. I'm going to dance. She's fun, though. Good times. I think the best music was probably, a lot of people say the 70s, and that was when we were getting into the guitar area. A lot of cool people came into the scene in the 70s. Carly Simon. Oh my gosh, why does he keep doing that? He keeps blinking out at me. But that's okay. You know where I'm going with this. But then in the 80s, we experimented with the synthesizers and the real guitars and the drums, and we got to know that more than just the instruments that were common could make music. So that was a lot of fun. I didn't care too much for the synthesizer area, but it was fun to be able to see what they could come up with, see what kind of songs they could come up with. Herbie Hancock, Julio Iglesias, Willie Nelson. I mean, just everywhere. Just tell me what you think. Leave me a comment. Let me know what kind of mood does this song put you in? Who is your favorite artist? What was your favorite album? What does music? There's some music out there that can just flat out put me to sleep, and it's not meaning to. That's not the meaning of the music. It's just a slow genre, and it makes me feel kind of sleepy or lethargic. I love classical music. I love Beethoven. I love Bach. I love Verdi. I love Tchaikovsky. My kids are like that too. They can go from listening to Limp Bizkit to Bach or Mozart or whatever. So yeah, my youngest daughter, she works in a haircutting place, and people pick on her about all the songs she knows. It's like no song that comes on the radio overhead that she doesn't know, and she's like, yeah, it's just that way. My parents taught me a lot about music when I was growing up. My mom taught me a lot about music. I don't think if it wasn't for my mom's love of music, would I have I heard the songs, but I wouldn't have thought that it was important. I wouldn't have grasped the meaning of music. And all of music is connected. I don't have a preference one way or the other than the illicit, kind of disrespectful, sometimes lyrics but all music is related. It all comes from one area, and that is Africa. I don't care if it is country music. I don't care what kind, other than the classical music, because that came from way back way back in the 1500s and 1400s, 1300s. But most modern music is joined through African music. Good to know. But however, we're going to let the news slip us today, and we're just going to talk about whatever makes us happy, and that is music. So if you like music, please like and subscribe, because I don't mind talking about it. I know as much as I can know. But yeah, I love to sing. I love to dance still. Of course, I don't look like I did when I was a kid dancing. I don't look like what I used to. But yeah, give me a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you'll be notified when I publish new content. Let YouTube know that people like my content. That I am important. I am popular. I am gonna be somebody. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. My husband will probably be home tomorrow, so I probably won't record. But I'm gonna keep recording. I don't know what I'm gonna record though, because I am really sick of the Meghan part of it, the Meghan and Harry of it. I don't do politics. We'll just figure out something to do. With our time on here, we'll just figure out something to record. So y'all have a blessed one. See you later. Bye bye.